Hi guys dan selamat kembali ke Studio Sembang bersama saya Amy. In the studio this week we have the one and only Dinas Mata. Hi. Hi Kak. How are you?
I'm good, Alhamdulillah.
Long time no see kan?
Yeah, actually.
We haven't seen each other for so long.
Yeah.
The
And
last
I've
time
not been going for events, so
Itulah
that's
kan.
also the reason why.
I feel like the last time I saw you, we had like such a good conversation dekat behind the scenes of what drama was it pun I tak ingat. Pengantin entah apalah. Cik Ayumi
Yes,
Sanggup. Itulah dia.
yes.
And kita shooting kat mall. And then
Ada kat rumah.
Yes. It was actually really fun.
Banyak outdoor tapi. You
Yeah.
dengan you punya sanggul.
Ya, dengan I punya me sekali kan.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I remember us having such a good conversation. So I'm sangat excited untuk redo that today. I think kita betul-betul bawa Akak Dinas back to the start because you also grew up in this area juga.
Yes, I did. Oh my God, I did.
Yeah. So it feels appropriate that our first question is, how was your childhood?
Ooh. How was my childhood? Interesting. I was very naughty.
Yeah.
But orang tak tahu I ni naughty. You faham tak?
Naughty macam mana tu kak?
I ni mastermind sebenarnya.
Oh.
If my friends were to watch this, diorang akan semua agree.
Yeah.
I'm the mastermind. Tapi bila kita orang kena tangkap, I orang yang terakhir sekali yang suspect.
Oh yeah, yang paling innocent
yang paling
lah.
innocent macam Dinas tak apa. Adrinas Mokhtar, okay, you can. It's
Faham,
okay.
faham.
I'm sure it's not you.
Tak dia kot.
Ya. Padahal I yang
Ya.
mastermind buat semua benda. Khaira jangan ikut I.
I love it. Ada sifat-sifat CEO tu bermula daripada kecil.
Yeah, but this is my neighborhood lah. Basically, all of my friends, even their parents, is all still in this area.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and we would walk and naik basikal all this area lah. Daripada sekolah rendah sampai sekolah menengah.
That's awesome. That's the one thing about Malaysia yang sangat best kan. Is
Yeah.
walaupun banyak dah berubah, we're still like such a young country and ada banyak yang tak berubah juga, which is great.
Yeah.
So nostalgia tu sentiasa ada.
Yeah,
I heard that you were...
tak ada handphone lah dulu.
Oh yelah. Which is good juga to have seen that very different time.
Exactly. Masa tu CD pun bulat lagi.
Faham? Kaset ada.
Kaset ada dulu. Kemudian kaset. Lepas tu CD. Lepas tu yelah MP3.
Zaman tu kan. We've come a long way. Tapi okay, I was reading up about you agak, and I heard that you were into a lot of extracurricular activities when you were a kid.
Oh yes.
Banyak.
I sampai sanggup tak pergi kelas semata-mata sebab nak pergi all my curriculum.
Really?
Yeah, at a very young age, I was already macam wakil sekolah untuk pergi tarian traditional. So we would go all around to wakil negeri untuk buat tarian traditional punya competition. And kalau you tengok I punya cert, medal semua banyak. Semua memang aktiviti banyaknya tarian, banyaknya teater lah. Macam-macam lah. Anything yang tak payah masuk kelas, I can join.
Were your parents very supportive of like all
very at a very young age I started like my mum suka push I sebenarnya masa baby, buat commercial, buat photoshoot for cover magazine at a very very young age. Like masa tu before start kindergarten. Tapi the deal with my dad was once you start school cannot already, so we had to stop lah. So but if it's up to my mum, I think she would just push me even more. And probably like you, start acting younger.
Yeah.
But I always told myself that I would never be an actor when I was younger. So never say never, guys. Serious.
Sebab dia akan berlaku macam tu juga.
So macam bila orang tanya macam, did you already plan from the start that you're gonna be an actor? I said, no way. I would tell myself that I'll never be an actor. Never.
Why never?
I don't know. I lupa sebenarnya I ambil teater kot dulu. Faham tak?
Yeah, because I was reading your kuku. There's like theatre there's menari, there's gymnastics, cheerleading, olahraga,
ballet,
taekwondo.
Everything.
Segala lah ada.
Segala-galanya.
Yeah.
Everything. So macam tapi sebab masa high school, I guess I kena kurangkan. I did cheerleading and all that. I had to kurangkan because I was too active and I had to concentrate on SPM kan.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, I had to quit ballet. I had to quit piano. I had to quit a lot of things actually. I was too active when I was in primary school. So secondary tu kena serious.
And focus sikit. I read that you wanted to be a dentist.
Oh yeah. Actually,
Tu sebelum ke selepas SPM?
sebelum.
Okay.
Way sebelum.
Okay.
I wanted to be a vet also. Because I suka kucing and I suka animals when I was younger. And then I love to tengok orang punya gigi, so I wanted to be a dentist.
Okay.
Sebab I suka tengok gigi orang first.
Itu sangat
Bila I
menarik
jumpa orang, I akan tengok gigi diorang dulu. Benda yang orang tak tahu pasal I.
Okay.
So yeah, but then after that, when I grew up and then I dah tahu apa yang I suka, I started selling things at the age of, believe it or not, at the age of 6. Tapi sekolah kindergarten mana ada duit kan. So what we did was system butter.
Okay.
So okay, I bawa benda baru, esok kita tukar macam tu.
Very
At a very
cute.
very young age lah.
And did you learn this from your mom? Because I know
No, I don't know. I tak tahu, I picked it up myself. My mum tak ada pun macam meniaga masa I kecil. I don't remember her meniaga pun masa kecil.
Very interesting.
Tak. So I don't know where I got it from, but I started very young lah. So my orang yang tukang buat I punya barang-barang untuk jual ni is my sister lah.
So did the family business lah.
Yeah, she got conned into it. So
Oh my gosh. Did you pay her salary at least?
no, of course not. I was like 6 years old.
Oh yelah.
Yeah.
Okay, faham.
Dia lah tukang jahitkan I punya batu seremban, batu jual kat sekolah.
Yeah. Okay, cute. The reason is because I can kind of relate. I had a system like this with my brother as well, where I hired my brother. Tapi I akan bayar dia kak. I bayar 20% sehari. Lepas tu satu hari dia labor. He did like a unrest. He did a protest. He said 20 cents tu tak cukup untuk I. You dah suruh I buat macam-macam dengan 20 cent per day ni. I nak minta gaji lebih.
Oops.
Yes. And then I had to give him a raise. Dia jadi 50 cent per day.
From 20 to 50. Wow.
Ya,
tinggi naik tu.
Itu lebih
rugi tu kos lari.
Itulah gila. I dah macam selepas tu I had to close shop lah sebab I tak mampu untuk bayar punya employee anymore. Yeah, but it's so cute, right?
So what do you guys jual?
No. He was just my assistant. I didn't even find a way to commercialize it. That's why that's why I learned. Okay, I kena belajar macam mana untuk cari duit tu sebab duit ni banyak keluar ni bayar adik I. Tak ada yang masuk pula masalahnya.
Yelah tu itu komitmen yang kita dah bagi pula kan. Bulanan masalahnya. Tak ada job.
Yelah kan.
Masalah juga tu.
So I heard also from a podcast that you did that your mom sent you for grooming class when you were 14.
God.
Ni cerita apa ni kak?
Apa ni? Mana you
Betul lah kan?
Memang betul.
Tak salah lah info kita lah.
Memang tak salah. Sebab I ni sangat macam jantan.
So tu I confused lah kak. Sebab
itulah I pun confused. Kejap.
Sebab you did ballet class, you did a lot of macam benda-benda yang dia agak feminine juga.
Kan? Maybe because kawan kot. I banyak kawan dengan tomboy. Sekolah girls school kan?
Faham.
And then sebab yelah walaupun macam sekolah tarian and all that, at one point tu I was my mum cut my hair. So tiba-tiba I rasa macam that's when I knew macam okay lah, aku ni boleh jadi pelakon. Dia macam method dia tak?
Cut hair terus jadi
tiba-tiba cut hair tak nak pakai skirt. Padahal dia tahu tak, I tak pernah ada jeans.
Really?
Oh my god. Yeah, when I was younger I tak pernah ada jeans. I selalu pakai you know that brand Somerset Bay?
Yeah, I think I've heard of it.
Yang macam very floral, very chiffonish.
Okay, I tak tahu.
Like very sweet.
Dia terlalu girly tu. I tak
It's very girlish,
okay.
yes. And I was always like wearing a Somerset Bay punya baju.
Okay.
And then I think my mum cut my hair short. That's when I stopped wearing skirts and I started wearing jeans, and then I macam jadi a bit more tomboyish. So melekat lah sampai form 2 kot. I macam abang-abang sikit. So she got worried. So she took me to a grooming class where they taught me how to walk properly, sit, eat, makeup, grooming lah. Everything. So that's when I knew that I want to be a model. So I could really walk nicely
that's
at that time.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I macam senang je lah, macam best pula. So yeah. But my mum said you have to finish school first.
So you went on to do that?
Yeah, tak habis SPM ni. SPM hari ni habis, besok terus buat show.
Yeah. So how did you get into entertainment? What was the link there?
I was in uni. So
Belajar mass comm kan Kak?
yes, I took mass communication, and my professor was a director, Prof Moya, Prof Razak Maidin.
Yeah.
So he was the one macam, Dinas, okay, Profesor bolehlah Mel lah masuk ni masa tu.
Dia yang mulakan.
Dia yang tarik I. Saya macam, boleh ke? Tak apa, awak ambil je watak ni. Okay, patutnya dia bagi watak besar tau, watak jahat. Muka I dah memang jahat Masa tu tak start berlakon lagi tau.
No, when I was reading, I realised you did like some watak jahat, and I was very confused sebab I tak rasa, for me lah kan, I tak pernah imagine you as a watak jahat.
Tak tahulah tu. Tapi dia macam nampak I, dia cakap, okay, you ambil watak ni. But I rejected because I told him, I said, no, this is too big. I cakap tak boleh. Bagilah I 2-3 scene je kan. I nak try je dulu. Lepas tu I jadi PA to the hero. So watak dekat office saja kan, sikit-sikit je. Lepas tu after that I macam seronok pula. So Prof was like, best kan. So he keep on calling me for all his movies. So I layankan je lah. Then after that Scope. So after Prof, Scope pula panggil untuk Gerahas and all that, and Janji Diana and all that. So I went to Scope lah. Lama juga dengan Scope. Banyak buat diorang punya job juga. So because I have to, during that time when I was doing with Prof, I dah tak ada masa nak buat benda-benda lain because I was studying at the same time kan.
Yeah.
So I couldn't juggle with too many things. I don't want to
abaikan pelajaran tu.
Pelajaran juga, yeah. And at the same time, I was in Astro. Actually, before I masuk acting, I was with, you interviewed Bron?
Yes.
Yeah, so I was actually a catwalk model first, and then Zack Zaidi was the one who got me into, I know, right? Macam Zack Zaidi got me into modelling, photo shoots and all that.
Okay.
So at that time dia kata, okay, masa tu kita orang catwalk. So dia kata, jom lah, I tarik you masuk Karangcraft buat photoshoot pula. I'm macam, okay. So I masuklah Karangcraft, buat banyak photoshoots. And then Astro called because daripada Prof punya connection juga, diorang nampak. So diorang macam, okay, jom try Big TV punya host. So masa tu ramai lah yang datang. I know Fasha came, Faiza Ilai came at that time. We didn't know anyone at that time. None of us knew each other at that time. Kan? Tak kenal pun siapa-siapa. But I knew that they came for the audition. So then alhamdulillah I got the job, but I was too tall. So diorang kena cari pula co-host yang sama tinggi. Yang shortlisted semua pendek, tak boleh. Because takkanlah I tinggi, lepas tu so masalah kat tu.
Frustrating gila lah Kak kan.
Masalah. Lepas tu tiba-tiba ada mamak ni, he was very opposite I lah. I kan macam masa tu very, very girlish and all that kan. Tiba-tiba datang this grunge guy, boleh cakap Thai semua, tengok berapa lari. So buatlah a few auditions with him, 2-3 kali. Last time orang confirm dia. Dapatlah kita orang.
Faham.
2 tahun kita orang buat. Selama 2 tahun kita orang. But that time I was still studying kan dekat ITM. So he had to wait for me so many times. So macam I remember Bron was girl, he calls me girl. Girl mana girl? Kata on the way daripada tadi ni, girl mana girl? So he had to always wait for me. So he was always annoyed tau. And I remember talking about Bron. During that time he was like, I will never, because he had to wait for me. Kadang-kadang ada show, fashion show semua.
Yeah.
He said, I will never ever be in any posters or be a model ever. Lepas tu tengok dia punya billboard besar jeans kan.
Yes.
I macam betul kat gambar, never ever konon.
Yeah. He just did a spread for Lifestyle Asia juga. I said just, tapi actually ni macam dah beberapa bulan dah, awal tahun ni kot. He did a spread for Lifestyle Asia juga. It looked like a model.
Exactly, right? Like model, right?
Very
So
cool.
much of not ever being a model, Bron.
Tapi yang interesting is macam kita punya industry is sangat interconnected kan.
Yep.
Semua orang kenal lah. Small world lah.
tak adalah bersama mana pun Malaysia ni.
Yelah, betul tu. Betul. What was the dream for you though at that time? Was it macam lebih nak kepada acting ke, lebih kepada hosting? Sebab I know you loved hosting.
One thing about me, right, I never ever plan my life because I believe that when you plan too much, it will never happen. So nanti you mengharap, bila you tak dapat apa you nak, nanti you disappointed. So I never plan. Like, yelah, apa benda I nak buat in life kan, I tak pernah plan pun. I just go with the flow. Kalau benda tu nampak positif and then you feel right doing it, then you buat. Kalau tak, I tak pernah macam plan, okay, lepas ni 5 years from now I'm gonna ni, tak ada. Tak pernah. I want to have how many kids, and tak ada. Pup, keluar 4. Terima. Alhamdulillah.
Faham? Do you ever get stressed out though if you don't plan? Sebab like I'm the opposite of you. Like kalau I tak plan, sangat. Oh my god,
very familiar.
No, you're right. It's such a disease. If you overthink, you akan stress 24 jam. Tapi I dah terlalu biasa kot dengan dah amalkan lifestyle nak
teratur.
Nak teratur lah. Because I always get stressed out. Like if I don't plan, I takut nothing is gonna happen. Macam tak ada benda yang akan menjadi.
But well, if nothing happens, then you just chill.
Yeah, this is true juga.
Right?
Yeah.
There must be a reason why God asked you to chill.
Yeah, this
nothing
is true
happens
juga.
so that you can chill.
Yeah, kita belum nampak lagi benda tu kan.
So maybe I don't know lah. I know kalau my husband were to watch this, dia akan macam, yelah, because I'm always the one who's always planning everything. Dia pula opposite, dia macam you.
Oh, faham?
Betul lah, orang kata opposite attracts kan.
Yeah,
dia tak boleh kalau last minute ni. Tadi you tak cakap pula you nak singgah sini. Kenapa ni tiba-tiba kita singgah sini?
Oh,
sorry.
Faham.
Dia dah biasa dah dengan bini dia macam ni. So he's always like, okay, we have to plan ni. Okay, esok kita kena gerak pukul 9. Semua kena gerak pukul 9. Boom, anak pula bangun lambat ke apa ke, dia tak boleh, dia akan macam
faham. Sama macam I.
Well,
faham? Okay. Have you always been like that, very go with the flow kind of concept?
Yes, I was always macam more cincai daripada someone that plans for everything.
Tapi I mean, to be fair, it's not really cincai lah. You're right to go with the flow, especially dengan industri yang macam entertainment ni, yang di mana macam langsung kita tak ada control langsung sebab kita tak tahu projek apa yang akan datang. So it's interesting. So you started Beat TV and that was really, really good. And then you did Haru Biru around that same time juga.
Yes. Haru Biru first. But it was the other way. Because Haru Biru was done and then diorang tak plan pun untuk jadikan benda tu movie. It was actually supposed to be a telemovie je.
Yeah.
Tapi they decided to jadikan movie. That's why dia keluar actually a bit later. Padahal shoot. That was actually my first acting that I did.
How was it?
First time. Masa tu dengan Abang Adlin.
Yeah.
Abang Ramli. So he was the one who taught me how to act actually properly. Macam mana nak nangis, macam mana nak feel, macam mana nak
nangis.
Okay, apa yang dia ajak I, you jangan imagine benda yang bukan dalam skrip. So macam setengah orang kan, dia bila dia nak nangis je, dia akan dengar lagu yang sedih untuk bagi dia nangis. Sebenarnya benda tu, you boleh nangis depan kamera, tapi you takkan feel benda tu. Dia takkan ikut skrip. You bukan dalam watak you. You tengah feel lagu yang you dengar tu. So bagi you yang tak feel, you rasa penonton boleh feel ke? So setakat keluar air mata je. So that's why dia kata, no, you have to think about you and your character. Kenapa character you kena nangis masa ni? And then you kena buatkan character you ada cerita daripada, you have to create your own
latar
belakang. You kena create your own storyline lah, daripada mungkin dia macam ni dulu, walaupun script tu is very basic kan, tapi sebenarnya you kena create apa yang menyebabkan karakter dia sangat sedih sampai dia boleh menangis sampai macam tu. Macam tu lah.
Daripada ambil sumber tu daripada tempat lain lah
daripada imaginasi you sendiri.
Faham.
Sebab kadang-kadang skrip kita dia macam apa yang only at the surface, but dia tak ada macam the backstory of your character. Sebab karakter dalam satu skrip kan banyak. Kan? Takkan dia nak tulis satu-satu. Okay, actually you macam ni dulu, macam ni. So yang ni, benda ni you kena buat sendiri. So banyak artis baru pun I always tell them, you know, when you have scene nangis ni, you have to practice and you have to, bukan practice macam mana pun, you have to know how to mendalami watak you sampai, because kita ni bukan macam Hollywood, kita bukan macam satu take je. Kita kena buat banyak-banyak take sebab kita ada satu kamera je kadang-kadang. Ini pun sekarang ni nasib baik ada 2-3 kamera. Macam dulu satu kamera je. You kena buat shot, banyak kali, expression yang sama. Macam mana?
Yeah, it's horrible.
Exactly.
Kalau nak jujur lah, it's horrible guys. Dia memang menakkan lah.
Mata kanan keluar, kiri keluar, kanan keluar. Macam mana?
Lepas tu kiri dah kering, kanan pula yang keluar.
Tiba-tiba sini pula lebih, sini kurang. Macam mana? So it's but if you know that feeling menyebabkan you nangis 10 kali pun tak apa. Kan? Lagi senang. Kerja semua orang senang, and then you pun puas buat scene tu. Bila orang tengok pun macam, oh okay, wow. So ramai orang tanya macam, alamak Kak Dina, macam mana you buat? Bukan shot you pun you nangis juga. Macam alah sebab Q, lepas tu feel sorry. So benda macam tu macam susah nak explain. Tapi Alhamdulillah sebab abang Adlin yang tolong, and then I managed to dapat benda tu
and figure it out, right? It's interesting. You did so many projects like from films.
Yelah, I umur berapa pula start, lepas tu sekarang dah umur berapa. So
no, but that's why I feel like you've got so much experience. Ada tak macam, mungkin nak cakap satu project yang betul-betul changed it for you, ataupun when did you realise that macam this is the moment yang, you know, I am an actor now, daripada I seorang yang macam nak berjinak in this industry?
After I started being, after I finish, sebelum graduate lagi, I macam banyak back to back juga. But I went full on lepas I graduate lah. And that's when I decided macam, full on lah. Because itu yang dia ke arah tu, so I just follow with the flow. Padahal, you know, I wanted to do so many things. I wanted to have my own shop. I wanted to design my own collection. I have so many things that I want to do. And I love to draw as well.
Really?
Actually, yeah, I do. So macam banyaknya benda yang I tak buat lagi, I nak buat. So macam, and I know for a fact that later on in life, when dapat pencen, baru nak start drawing pun boleh je sebenarnya, when you have more time. But at the moment, I don't have time. So, banyak benda sebenarnya I nak buat, tak buat lagi. Tapi tengoklah macam mana.
Itulah benda yang sebenarnya macam bukan nak cakap susah, because obviously I think it's a blessing lah untuk kerja dalam bidang entertainment, right? It's a lot of people's dream jobs. Tapi yang datang ni dengan this type of job, sepasang is that you tak boleh stop your job lah. You tak ada break, you tak ada off time. You sentiasa clocked in sebab you sentiasa ada rupa yang ada dekat kaca TV. So there's actually no, you're always the actress, right? And so yang susah ni yang datang daripada tu, especially untuk seorang yang macam mungkin ada impian untuk jadi an entrepreneur, whatever, is untuk bekerja sebagai seorang pelakon dan untuk ada business pada satu masa adalah sesuatu yang mustahil untuk dibuat, kecuali kalau ada seorang yang boleh dipercayai, yang boleh run segala-galanya.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then you just become the figurehead lah. Tapi di sebalik tabir, you want to be active, tak boleh lah sebab you kena duduk kat set. Actually, that's the reality lah of the situation.
Yeah, but
did you ever find it frustrating?
Not to say like find it frustrating, because, you know, I'm the type of person who, if I want something, I'll just go ahead and do it. You know, I don't think first.
Okay.
I would just, you know, I'm so blessed that I actually got close to Awal.
Yes.
Awal
you guys
Syari.
started a business together.
So yeah,
kan?
exactly. So what happened was, I don't know why at that particular year semua job I dengan dia. Semua.
Oh yeah. I love working with Abang Awal.
Semua. So macam, movie dengan dia, hosting dengan dia, semua dengan dia.
Best lah.
Ambassadorship dengan dia. So macam so at that time, imagine lah, we see each other a lot. So we became close. And then kita orang pun macam, I ingat lagi masa tu kita orang tengah photoshoot tau, untuk promosi filem ke apa benda tau. Then we were like, you know what I want to do? Yeah, I want to have a shop. I want to sell clothes. Serius lah, I pun. Esok ni kita orang dah cari kedai. Next week ni kita orang dah buka kedai.
And then
itu
what happened?
Gilanya kita orang, because
itulah laju you guys
sama.
boleh.
Dua-dua panggil sama. Malah nak fikir panjang, tak payah nak ni, pup terus buat.
Okay, and then?
And then, okay, what shall we call our shop? Dinas and Awal. Okay lah, DNA.
Yeah, I thought that was such a smart name actually. Bijak.
DNA. So macam, okay. DNA celebrity style. So kita buka kat atas mas. So we were too busy. Both of us, we were too busy. And I just got married at that time also. I mean, the first year was okay. And the second year tu sebab I dah kahwin semua. And then I was pregnant at that time. So tak boleh cope semua benda nak buat kan. So then we decided to close the shop. Sebab tak ada orang jaga. And then macam susah lah. So, tak ada communication. Dia ke mana, I ke mana. So communication is always the key, right? You have to always communicate in everything, in anything. In business, in relationships, in anything. Right? So masa tu communication tak ada langsung. Walaupun kita orang rapat. So kita orang macam busy sangat dengan life masing-masing. So we decided to stop, close. Tapi I pula pregnant. I pula awal tak nak buat. Sayang ni DNA ni. Apa kata kita buat. And that time I just give birth. Saya macam susah ni nak breastfeed dekat Malaysia ni. Macam mana nak and I was always like yalah, sebab I'm always catching tau baju and all that kan. Sebab I memang my dream dream memang nak ada kedai boleh design baju sendiri semua. So macam macam bagus je. So I try buat satu baju breastfeeding. Masa tu jubah. Lepas tu I ingat lagi masa tu dekat syukur jambul kawan I. So I bawa baby juga masa tu. So I was breastfeeding in front of khalayak ramai. So I was breastfeeding Kyra. And then somebody like actually approached me. Oh my God, Dinas, you tengah menyusu ke? And then I was not wearing a poncho or whatever tau. A breastfeeding punya cover ke tak ada. So they were like, tak nampak apa-apa. I'm like, yeah, I buat baju ni. Mana you dapat? I duk cari jubah yang boleh breastfeed, okay? Mana you dapat? And then it's, of course, dia tak nampak macam jubah tu muslimah sangat. But it's fashionable tapi boleh menyusu.
Dia blending both things lah.
Yeah.
Actually, 3 things you try to do, which is fashionable and like very practical, modest and practical pada masa sama. Very interesting.
So, orang tanya. So, I macam, macam boleh buat business lah benda ni.
And then?
So, I macam nak panggil nama apa. Sayanglah DNA dulu. So, I macam, why not I change it to Dinas Nursing Attire?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I did. I called Awal first lah. Can I take the DNA? But change it into Dinas Nursing Attire.
And he was okay with it?
He's okay with it, yeah.
And then it went on?
It went on.
That's awesome. Is it still around?
Okay, for Dinas Nursing Attire, it's still around. I still have my collection, but because nursing attire is very dah common in Malaysia, so I macam feel that okay lah, it's time for me to step back lah. Sebab and also you need to have macam nak cakap apa motivation juga kan. But and I'm not breastfeeding anymore. So when you're pregnant and when you're breastfeeding, you get
ilham tu akan datang lah.
You get fresh
ideas. I need this,
exactly.
I need this, I need this. Macam tu.
So bila you dah no longer breastfeeding, no longer pregnant, boleh je ilham tu datang. Tapi idea I dah nak pergi benda lain dah. I ni pula jenis manusia yang tak boleh stick to just one thing lama tau. So that's why we love acting. So nanti lepas ni karakter ni dah boring. Okay, next.
Yeah.
Next. And then we can still sustain in the industry sebab you
nak mencari
sesuatu yang baru. Betul. Dan
is that not a challenge for business? Sebab business tu kan biasanya it's like you have to just commit lah. Even though you bangun you bosan, you still kena buat juga.
Memang kena buat juga. Tapi macam because now we have a manufacturing, my own manufacturing company. So I actually can do so many things. Not just
so dia sama lah. It's kind of like acting.
Sama.
Tapi very interesting.
You can do so many things. Like you can actually do bags for kids. You can actually do things like this. Alas tilam ke, or anything, or curtains, or anything that's sewing and kain. Not just maternity, but now you can do for men's, you can do for kids, you can do anything yang berjahit.
That's awesome. Okay, I have so many questions to ask you about what you're doing now, because I feel like that's super interesting and orang macam tak pernah betul-betul dapat tahu. But before we get there, we ask lah about your the beginnings of everything. So after DNA, you were still working, you were still acting. How were you, just like out of curiosity, as a mom, as a woman, and also as an entrepreneur? Macam mana nak handle so many of these things at once? What was your time management secret?
Oh my God. So many people ask me that at that time. Macam mana you boleh jaga with everything? Like so many things. But like I said, I don't like to plan. And then I will just go with the flow. And then I will just feel apa benda yang I rasa penting, I buat dulu. Macam tu lah. So, nasib baiklah kita ni wanita ya. Sebab semua benda kita boleh buat.
Ya, kita power mati.
Dalam satu hari tu boleh mop lantai sambil masak, sambil potong semua lah. Sambil lipat kain kan. Semua benda kita boleh buat. So I guess itulah superpower yang kita ada sebagai wanita ni. You know, we can actually juggle with everything, so many things, and making sure everything is fine, and worry about how other people feel. So sometimes kita lupa dengan how we feel, and we dulukan orang lain dulu kan. Biasa kan kita ni macam tu. Tapi I managed to do it. Tapi at one point ada jugalah rasa macam, oh my God, this is too much, penat. Then you take a break. When you feel that it's too much, then take a break.
It's much harder to do.
Very.
Right? Sebab kadang-kadang you want to take a break tu, itulah time yang macam alamak, tapi I kena buat benda ni, ataupun alamak ada je
dah
benda
lah,
ni.
satu benda yang orang tak tahu pasal I ni kan, I ni jenis yang tak boleh cakap no. I'll say yes to everything. So walaupun I busy macam mana pun, walaupun I ni. Yes. Lepas tu kalau benda tu tak dapat buat dengan betul, then I will be disappointed with myself. Macam tu. Kenapa aku tak cakap no je, padahal benda ni, ya Allah, hai.
That sounds like a recipe for burnout, Akak. Pernah tak hadap burnout, and how did you deal with it?
Tak sempat nak burnout. I mean, bukan tak sempat nak burnout, tak sempat nak deal with it. Burnout tapi tak sempat nak deal with it. So macam just so unhealthy sebenarnya. Swallow it. You know what? Sometimes I feel so burnout that when you drive to work kan, tiba-tiba kau nangis seorang dalam kereta macam macam tu kan.
Faham.
So macam okay, go macam tu.
Faham. When was this?
This is every time.
Really?
And I guess it's also because ada depression punya issue sikit, that I macam selalu macam okay lah, tak apa, okay je. Try to be positive and then move on lah with my life.
Did you have a period of facing?
Ada. Once in a while. That's why lah, you want to do everything kan. Lepas tu jam. Bila jam, kan. But I know how to, I think I know how to just snap out of it and be happy again.
Yeah. It's not easy. Not easy. All of the things that you've chosen kan, Kak. So when you look back at your career, is there one project yang you rasa is like maybe your favorite ataupun paling dekat dengan hati?
Project is in the entertainment industry ke?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yang paling dekat dengan hati I, Madam Wong I rasa.
Yeah, that was such a good character.
Yeah, that one is like memang, it's me actually.
Yeah.
Even
do you see the Halloween costume kan, Kak? I know people were wearing it as a Halloween costume. Like, damn. Itu sangat awesome untuk mencipta satu karya yang macam iconic macam tu.
Again, bila I dapat job tu pun, I tak plan pun macam mana baju I semua. Tak ada plan pun. Tapi I just go with the flow, and I feel I buat apa yang I rasa macam terbaik untuk Madam Wong. And I tak plan pun sebenarnya nak cakap macam tu, nak buat slang macam tu. Sebenarnya Madam Wong ni, sebelum Madam Wong ni dilahirkan, I memang dah cakap macam tu since school tau. I like to talk like in a Chinese punya slang. I tak tahu lah, just for fun, you know. Yeah. It's just a character that memang dah build daripada dulu sebelum Madam Wong lagi. So when I got the character Madam Wong, okay lah, jadi diri sendiri lah. So when I did the audition tape tu, I buat lah macam mana yang I tahu buat. So dapat pula. So then I continue on with that lah. Tiba-tiba lahirnya Madam Wong. Sebab orang yang kenal I daripada dulu macam, my God, Madam Wong is so you.
Really?
Yeah.
But it's always the characters that are so you then kadang-kadang menjadi. Like, even when I look back, the ones that felt the most like tak memaksa, tak go with the flow lah. That's when
very natural.
Yeah, that's when I did the best.
Don't have to do much.
Yeah, betul paling senang. How was it like dealing with proses pemilihan of watak apa yang akan jadi? Macam contohnya Madam Wong tu is like a once in a career lifetime untuk dapat karakter yang sangat menarik and layered macam tu kan.
Betul.
But how did you choose like what projects you want to do, macam karakter apa yang you nak jadi? Ke dia
well, I will usually, okay, so I know that I don't like to plan things, tapi when it comes to character tu, we have to lah. Sebab kalau tidak, because at one point in my career, right? In one point in my career, I always get the same character tau. Asyik jahat, asyik penyondol. Sama je kan. So macam, stop. So, that's when I started to choose lah. Really choose yang mana yang I rasa macam, tak pernah buat lagi. Okay lah buat. So tapi I tak pernah expect lebih-lebih sangat pun in any character. So kadang-kadang kan, you never know. Macam Madam Wong ni, kita tak pernah imagine pun dia akan meletup sampai macam tu kan. I just go with the flow and I just do my best in whatever the character I dapat. Menjadi, Alhamdulillah. Tak menjadi, tak apa, kita dapat kepuasan sebagai pelakon. Dan at least we dah pegang character tu dah.
So let's talk about business a little bit. So I rasa macam this is something that you still do so actively now yang orang tak seberapa nampak. So so after DNA, what was like the story selepas itu?
After
so
DNA,
it shut down, right? Because you closed it down, or you don't really actively do it so much anymore.
Kita orang dah keluar daripada Curve,
yeah.
And then we did it online. Tapi macam because after that, I just took a break for about 2 years from everything when I was burnt out. So I took a long break. I did not work at all. I mean, adalah sikit-sikit. Tapi I just took that 2 years to just chill.
When was this kak?
When I was 30. Yeah. 30
Wow.
years old. Yeah, I think so. 29, 30. And then after that baru start.
Tapi you were working for like what? How many years before that berturut-turut tak berhenti kan?
Yeah. So during that 2 years, I focused on myself. I started going to the gym twice a day.
Wow.
Yeah, it's part of the depression process.
Faham.
But it's good because I was super fit at that time. That 2 years, I was like, serious. I was feeling good, you know. Yeah. Traveling, really learning about myself. So then after that, baru I start niaga balik and all that. So my problem with my brand is that I've got 3 brands under me, which is Shampoo Kidswear, and Wanra by Dinas Mokhtar. So this is casual lah, smart casual. So my partner is my mum. So that's when she gave me the you nak puas, buat apa-apa buat lah.
Ruang lah.
Ruangan, you nak be creative, go ahead. Tapi dia juga bagi banyak idea dekat I jugalah, because dia macam, okay, janganlah buat benda-benda yang too young sangat. Mami punya buyer pun nak kena and all that. But honestly, sense of fashion banyak daripada dia. Dia macam, walaupun dia dah berumur kan, she would go to the office with all the chunky accessories and tiba-tiba dengan matching handbag. Itu mak I.
Faham.
So kalau datang office tu macam bersiap je lah. Suka bersiap. Nak pergi TRX pun kena bersiap. Tak faham betul. So dia memang suka bersiap.
Faham.
And dia suka memang suka accessories. And dia boleh design her own accessories. Even. She loves it. So macam that part pun dia boleh explore juga. That's why dia jadi I punya business partner. So dia dapat luahkan dia punya that part of dia punya kepuasan juga. You know, not so much of the accounts and corporate punya industry, you know. So part tu bagi dia macam terapi untuk dia jugalah. So dia macam untuk nak relax, tiba-tiba naik atas dekat tingkat 2, okay, draw dengan Dinas, you know, design whatever. Okay, mami nampak ni. And she loves to like get inspiration from TV, cerita Korea and all that. Baju dia cantik pun tak gambar. Dinas, jom kita buat something like this, tapi kita buat jubah modern. Macam tu.
Faham.
So itulah kerja kita orang, dua beranak ni.
Oh, Oh, that's quite fun though.
Yeah, it is.
Does it help to do business apabila macam you datang from a family ataupun with your mom that has such a strong foundation in it?
Yeah.
Adakah dia membantu ke dia kadang-kadang sebab orang pun cakap macam family business ni susah.
Kalau dia tengok nanti kan macam yes.
Hi auntie. Yeah, tapi it can also be difficult sebab you macam work with
It's not easy to work with your mom. It's not easy macam it's sama juga. It's not easy to work with your other half, you know. Like you know, for having your husband to be your business partner pun scary juga tu, benda tu sama je. Sama je sebenarnya when you work with family. Tapi kita orang dah biasa sebab memang company kita orang penuh dengan kita orang punya cousin lah, uncle lah. My sister used to work with us. My uncle used to work with us as well for quite a long time. My brother is still my partner now. I mean, one of our partners.
Like me and my brother juga.
So macam dah biasa kot. Cuma biasalah kalau mood masing-masing ada mood masing-masing kan, tapi kita dah biasa. So we don't actually bring it home, and it's a good practice. Walaupun my mum memang suka cakap pasal kerja bila kita makan bersama-sama di meja makan. Orang lain yang tak ada kena-mengena pun terpaksa dengar. Tapi dah banyak kali cakap dah macam kat dia macam, okay, mummy, you have to actually, you know, not talk about work so much. Tapi biasalah, mummy is mummy lah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we got used to it lah, you know. But because she's also the backbone of both companies, meaning my brother and my dad's company, me and my mom's company. So dia yang kalau tak ada dia macam cacar marba jugalah.
Yeah. But when you do when you're focusing on business, is it harder for you to find time to do the entertainment stuff?
Yes, I have to choose either one.
And what's your choice?
That's why like when we're busy with the business punya part, I have to just not be at the set. But when there's something a good film ke or a good series that's coming up, then I have to tell my mom lah, say okay, hujung tahun I need like 4 months break, okay? Usually no, I won't tell her actually. Usually I will just take the job and say, alah, sikit je Cindy-na, sikit je mami, tak apa, nanti I rotate. Padahal 3 bulan aku tak masuk office.
Faham?
So yeah, I mean, she's pissed, but dia dah tahu dah anak dia memang macam tu. Can never say no, right?
Yeah, and she wants to support you as well. So why do you still do the acting? For the love of it.
How can we stop?
Yeah, true.
Can you ever stop completely? I don't think so. I mean,
sometimes I think about it.
But when you get too tired,
yeah, when you're too tired, you're like, I never want to do this again.
Like, why did I ever say yes to this job? Like, what is all this waiting?
Yeah, and then bila you free, rasa macam sebenarnya kan rindu lah berlakon.
Tak, bila dah habis and then you tengok premiere, macam oh lah puas siut. Oh my god, I did that.
Yeah, betul.
Wow. And then like macam the feedback that you got because of that character, so macam alhamdulillah aku ambil job ni.
Yeah.
Walaupun, tapi I always believe apa tau, benda yang senang takkan berjaya. Benda yang susah gila nak dapat, benda yang susah gila nak buat, benda tu yang akan meletup. Without you realising it. So you just have to be positive about it. That's why I macam rasa yang kalau benda tu susah sangat kan, macam it's okay. It's okay. I know it's going to be good. It's okay. Tak apa, sabar.
Tapi kadang-kadang untuk mencari positivity tu is the hard part lah. That is the cabaran.
Betul.
Right?
Tapi yalah, I mean, daripada I punya pengalaman lah. Okay, so benda yang susah tu lah yang lama sikit dengan kita. Bila benda tu senang sangat dapat kan, betul pup hilang.
Faham? What have you actually been up to for the past couple of years yang mungkin orang tak tahu? Like you were saying, right, that you have this manufacturing company semua ni, and dia sangat-sangat ketara dengan kerja sebagai seorang pelakon. And how to, I mean, from your perspective lah Kak, when you do these so many different things kan, one part of you is focused on something that is like such a serious traditional manufacturing company, which is cool, and a lot of fashion juga, tapi dia sangat different. Do you ever feel like it takes away from the focus of becoming an actress, and then your fans are going to tanya macam, oh mana Kak Dinas?
No, one thing for sure, I won't put being an actor to as my main job. So for all my life, I've always been into business. So business is always my first priority. Masa hosting ke, masa ni ke, walaupun I tak ada kedai, tapi I'm always constantly in my head planning to sell something. So that's always my first priority. is to sell whatever that can sell. I can sell anything. That's why I'm so active on TikTok now. Kau janganlah bagi aku apa-apa, aku jual.
I love it.
Badan je tak jual. Kan? So macam it's the kepuasan that I get kan, walaupun kan I dapat profit 20 sen pun, I macam I did something. Macam best sangat bila kita dapat achieve walaupun sikit. So I macam dia memberikan kepuasan yang sangat, macam mana nak cakap, tak tahulah macam nak cakap. It's just something that is so addictive when you get to sell and you get to communicate and be the front to sell to people tau. I love to talk to customers, and I love to have the bila kita nak jual, kita kena convince orang kan. So benda tu bagi I sangat addictive. Macam mana nak convince orang tu, walaupun produk tu kita tak tahu whether sesuai untuk dia ke tak, tapi kita tahu macam mana nak convince orang tu tau. Macam especially kan, you know what I learned daripada maternity punya baju, macam mana nak convince orang tu, dah lah dia pregnant and then dia rasa badan dia gemuk dan besar. Kan selalunya when you pregnant, you akan rasa macam alah badan tengah kembang, tak payah beli baju, tak payah. So macam mana you nak convince a pregnant lady that she actually look really nice in baju yang I buat tu. Benda tu macam sangat, masa tu I nak train my workers pun, it was not easy, I tell you, because, and you know what, you have to always be careful what you say juga. You know, not everyone yang datang kat kedai kau tu pregnant. Janganlah assume makcik tu pregnant, padahal dia tak pregnant, dia beli untuk anak dia.
Has it happen?
Banyak kali. So you cannot assume semua orang pregnant.
Oh my God.
Exactly. I macam, ya Allah, budak ni guys, tak boleh. You kena tanya je, walaupun obvious perut tu besar macam mana pun, just in case. Just cakap je, are you buying for someone, or I'm sorry to, like, are you buying
for yourself, or for someone else?
Or for someone else? Or, tapi tak boleh cakap for yourself pun, because it's a maternity baju. So faham tak macam mana? When you have a maternity punya shop, so you have to be really careful.
Kalau tak, dia akan macam bunyi dia macam tak best lah kan.
Kau nak beli untuk aku pregnant, nampak macam pregnant ke? Macam tu kan. Padahal you know, so you have to always be careful. Lagi-lagi kalau mamis yang tengah baru habis pantang, so mesti still got that bump kan. So don't just say, are you buying it for someone? Oh, no, buying for myself, I'm pregnant. Oh, okay, congratulations. Instead of, jangan assume orang tu pregnant dulu.
Oh, very interesting. I didn't think of this.
Yeah, you ada maternity line macam mana? You cannot assume everyone is pregnant,
I tak ada maternity line, Kak.
No, yeah, I mean, can you imagine?
Can imagine that this is the type of thing yang orang takkan tahu, yang you have to think about it. Which is so interesting, kan?
Yeah, but I mean, compliment jugalah kalau you rasa makcik tu pregnant kan. Sorry, nampak muda. Cover lah pula kan.
Okay, and you kena tahu alasan macam mana nak memperbaiki situation tu kalau dia berlaku. Faham? Okay. Yeah, but I think as a mom of 4, it's interesting that you used your life experience and turned it into business as well. Yeah.
Betul.
Which is really awesome.
And it was not just that tau. During that DNA kan, Dinas Nursing Attire tu, I actually got a lot of information about breastfeeding itself, because at that time it was not something that people talk about. Breastfeeding is like something that people don't talk about and don't promote, because it's always about the pyramid, makanan, susu, whatever. Yeah. Because everything is
itu yang orang boleh beli and kena mengeluarkan duit.
Exactly. What milk is the best for your baby, for the nilai tumbuh besaran, whatever. Padahal susu badan. So that's when I banyak kawan-kawan lactationists, and we don't even know kan ada lactation sebenarnya kat Malaysia ni.
I didn't know there was a lactationist.
God.
Enough job for lactationist. What is a lactationist job?
A lot of mothers think that they cannot breastfeed their child naturally.
Because of latching issues or?
Latching, inverted nipples, so many issues actually. Yang boleh menyebabkan susah sukar untuk seorang ibu tu menyusukan anak secara natural. Tapi sebenarnya there are ways to overcome any
issue that you might face.
Situation. So that's when lactation come in. Macam dulu, we don't talk about it. Lactation pun boleh kira berapa orang kat Malaysia ni. Sebab because it's not popular to breastfeed your child.
And also it's very taboo sebab anything we talk about women's bodies, especially
semua macam
everything is just like sexualized to the max lah,
exactly.
Right?
So when I had my business tu, secara tak langsungnya I was also promoting breastfeeding. So I was like the first celebrity to ever do a flash mob in KLCC with 100 mothers breastfeeding their child dekat taman.
Wow.
Sampai police came. Yeah. And all the guards and the police came and halau gitu.
How do I not know about this?
I thought you knew everything.
Oh my God, this is the first thing I've ever not known about.
I was waiting for that
That's
question.
so crazy.
Yeah,
Wait, okay, what happened? What's the tea?
No, because can you imagine, in KLCC tak ada breastfeeding room. Memang tak popular lah at that time kan. Kan dah cakap, masa tu memang tak popular nak breastfeed. Mana ada macam sekarang ni, every mall ada breastfeeding room, siap ada aircon, wangi, tak bau macam diaper. Siap ada macam tempat duduk yang ada breastfeeding chairs.
How is there not a breastfeeding room? That's crazy.
Tak ada dulu. So that's why we had to do a flash mob. Because KLCC kot, takkan tak ada kan breastfeeding room. Or at least a diaper changing room. So
some
ada,
sort of like for 50% of your population.
Exactly.
Oh.
So you know why we wanted to do it? Sebab we mothers, we breastfed. Walaupun kita pakai breastfeeding punya baju, kita orang breastfeed dekat the bench dekat KLCC, kena halau. Cannot do that here. Padahal we not flashing anything tau. Dengan poncho bagai lah and all that kan, kita orang kena halau. So we have...
Why?
So masa tu kita orang punya gang ni tak adalah besar mana pun, but because I was close to a lot of lactation in Malaysia tu masa tu, kat KL masa tu, so kita orang pun bergabung. So we decided macam ni, jom lah kita buat flash mob. Tak boleh lah macam ni. Takkanlah kita nak breastfeed our child, like giving your child food in the toilet. That's what we were doing tau, sebab they don't allow us to breastfeed anywhere else walaupun we're not flashing.
That's crazy.
So it's like seumpama kau nak makan lunch, tak ada kawan dalam toilet. Bagi anak kau makan dalam toilet. It's like you're feeding your baby in the toilet.
That's horrible.
Exactly, right? So I macam, okay lah, jom kita buat flash mob. Oh, kecoh. Oh my God. Kita orang macam guard semua datang semua. Lepas tu konon nak panggil polis semua.
Did you not worry at all yang benda ni akan mengganggu your work or your career or your...
I didn't care because I didn't care because I had my business at that time.
So that give you some space lah kan.
And it's good for... It's not just good for promoting breastfeeding in general.
Promoting the baju lah yang dia pakai untuk...
Exactly. It was also promoting what I was doing.
Lah kan.
Yeah, but of course I will push the like awareness first.
Of course.
Right? After that, I got a lot of like calls like regarding breastfeeding awareness punya talks in hospitals, in shops, in private ataupun kerajaan pun. Diorang panggil untuk I bagi talk untuk create this awareness on breastfeeding. Even on nurses, hospitals. So a lot of like interns yang datang pun akan belajar, akan dengar punya talk. So kita orang bercombine lah dengan lactation yang dekat KL ni untuk create lagi this awareness. Then after that, KLCC didn't do anything yet. The following year, we got the press to join. We got daripada first year tu mungkin tak sampai 100 orang lah. The second year tu yang sampai 100 orang tu penuh gila. If you Google ada lagi gambar, video.
Go you. Go you.
Masa tu press semua datang to cover the event. Masa tu kadang kecil lagi. Pegang banner. God. I don't want to eat in the toilet. Kalau Google ada lagi.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So after that barulah mall-mall
start aware dengan benda-benda ni.
Bukan saja sebab I cakap, breastfeeding room is not a special place for kids to change diaper. No, you have to have a good ventilation because babies bila panas, diorang tak nak latch properly sebab diorang tak comfortable. Macam mana nak makan kalau you tak comfortable? Kalau tempat panas and you berpeluh-peluh. Because when baby latch, when they feed and they suck, it's a workout for them tau. That's why if you need the baby will sweat because it's not easy for them juga to latch.
I didn't know this.
It's like a workout for the baby
now
as well.
Now that I think about it, I'm like, duh. Duh.
Sebab kenapa you tengok dengan baby asyik berpeluh je kan? Bila minum, kenapa berpeluh? So because it's
because
hard work.
Clearly, I don't spend a lot of time with babies. Okay. Belum sampai lagi. Belum sampai lagi.
But at least you know what to expect after this.
Oh my God, I'm terrified.
So macam bagi masa I buat my breastfeeding baju pun, if you put your baby in a poncho or in a breastfeeding punya cloth, cover, breastfeeding cover, nanti kan lagilah dia peluh. Betul tak? Dah lah dengan bawah selimut, lepas tu nak menyusu lagi, berpeluh-peluh budak tu. So that's why I always promote when I have my breastfeeding baju, tak payah dah poncho tu. Tak payah dah. So at least dia boleh
feel a bit breezy lah. Dia tak boleh panas sangat.
Seronok. Sambil minum, sambil makan. Macam tu. But at the same time, you don't flash anything.
Yeah, this is a crazy industry that I know nothing about. Do you miss it?
Yeah, of course. And just talking about this, you can see that I'm
You're so passionate. That's
passionate about it. Exactly.
You should never stop this.
You know, even for interviews, right? During interviews, like a lot of people macam masa I pergi press conference, I always carry this girl a lot wherever I go. She's like my handbag. So, bila I have an interview, I would just breastfeed her dengan selambanya sampai diorang macam, I'm so sorry. I'm like, it's okay. You can just... So, ada je video banyak I tengah interview sambil menyusu. Sebab I just want to prove a point that baju I ni takkan nampak apa-apa, satu, and then we can breastfeed anywhere.
And yeah, lebih daripada tu. It's not necessarily just a statement about your baju.
Yes, no. It's actually not about my baju. It's
about your right.
I'm trying to
as
prove
a mother.
A point.
Yeah.
I can breastfeed anywhere, and it's natural to have to feed your baby, and as long as you don't you don't flash anything lah.
Yeah, you're not disturbing other people.
Exactly.
Pandanglah tempat lain kalau tak suka tengok. What's your problem?
Betul lah tu, tapi kita ni kadang-kadang kan netizen.
Well, I'm very shocked about this. So yeah, I understand your challenge mungkin lah Kak, is the fact that this type of business, when you are pregnant and when you are experiencing it, you akan ada banyak lagi. But it's something that you're
sayang,
so...
kan?
Sayang lah.
Sayang, tapi I rasa macam dah banyak. You know? Dah banyak. Tapi what I can do is maybe... Still, I still have it now. You know? And but cuma tak aktif macam dulu lah kan.
Mungkin kena aktifkan balik, because dia bukan saja pasal ada ramai kat luar sana. Kak, you love it. Can tell, can see how passionate you are about it. And itu sebenarnya cukup untuk jadi sebab kenapa you should do it. Because you love it. Ada ramai, tapi takkan ada yang sayang macam mana you sayang.
Betul tu. That's why memang keep on saying macam, sayang lah kalau tak nak buat dah DNA. Tapi bukan tak nak buat, dah ada. Cuma tak market macam dululah.
Faham.
Kan?
Sebab dia banyak work juga.
And most of my stuff now, we don't even sell it in Malaysia. Like I have my own brand, kids brand dengan orang tu punya brand kan. So I banyak pergi expo outside of Malaysia. Sebab I rasa it's easy to sell when it's not, Malaysian made tapi dekat overseas. I don't know. So I banyak macam involved dengan matric juga and all that kan. So bukan nak cakap Malaysia ni macam tak ada buying power, ada. Sebab I started off pun dengan DNA kan. Cuma maybe my focus is more on the export market at the moment. So,
and another thing that I wanted to ask you kan Kak, because even from your own experience sebagai seorang yang macam, pregnancy is not a permanent experience. It is something yang happens untuk berapa je time
bulan
selepas you dah. So for macam mencari orang yang untuk bekerja dalam company tu pun mesti satu cabaran juga kan. Sebab let's say your staff tu is a dude, firstly dia tak tahulah produk ni macam mana pun. Dia boleh belajar, tapi akan ada batas di mana dia boleh faham.
Yeah, betul. And actually to get an explanation for a dude about like a nursing top, it's a bit weird, nah? But
yelah kan? Macam,
but I did have male punya workers before. Actually, they can do wonders.
Yeah.
I macam, dekat expo dia yang paling laju jual. Macam, wow. Oh, for nursing je? Yeah.
Hebat.
Bukan nursing je. Baby punya carrier lah. Macam-macam dia jual.
Oh,
So,
baby beli carry tu tak istimewa sangat. Breastfeeding tu daripada sebab lelaki rasa
semua.
macam,
Masalah dia top up everything. Dia top up everything.
Oh.
Termasuk dengan breast pump. You rasa? Nursing bra, nursing pad, semualah.
Dia masih bekerja dengan akak lah. For sure lah kan.
Tak ada dah. Of course tak ada dah. I don't have. I don't
You
join.
don't have stuff anymore.
I don't join DNA. I don't join Baby Expo anymore, which I should. Which I plan to. Tapi because I banyak expo yang casual wear, it's easier to. More.
Understand. It's a wider market.
Wider market,
Yeah,
and it's easier to sell kan daripada kalau baju menyusu, then we have to go for baby punya expo saja.
Faham.
Tapi kalau kita pergi macam expo lain,
dia ada
Singapore,
banyak lagi
Brunei
expo
dan
yang
sebagainya.
Yeah.
So kalau I bawa breastfeeding sahaja, so macam you know,
terlalu small lah,
terlalu
niche.
niche sangat untuk kita sampai ke overseas just to sell breastfeeding punya baju. But I always bring. Sebab when they see my face, ada tak baju menyusu? Ada tak baju pregnant? So I will always bring some, but not all.
I wanted to ask you as a mom, right, about your own experience becoming a mom. And you have 4 kids, agak. And your littlest, you had at quite a late age, right?
2.
Yeah.
She's 2.
She's 2 already now. Oh my God.
It's so funny about Olis. She can't talk yet, but she can sing Golden.
Sumpah lah.
Dengan nari-nari semua. Tanya
Ini generation
diorang.
apa
Tanya
ni
diorang.
orang? So sekarang generation what kak? Dah bukan alpha kan? Itu selepas alpha. Selepas
apa kan dah?
Bukan beta. Beta?
Ambil kau. Tak boleh bercakap lagi ni. Panggil mami daddy je. Abang. Tapi Tata. Golden power. Macam mana tu? Hai. Dengan nari-nari semua siap.
That's crazy.
Olis.
Wow, so fast eh? That's incredible. I thought one day a singer kak mungkin. What was it like becoming a mom for the 4th time?
Oh, because I
Especially
had her
like,
at the age of 40.
And people say during this type of time it's even more tumultuous, like pregnancy.
Yeah,
and
it was harder. Because I never ever complain about when I'm pregnant kan, I was still doing whatever that I was doing even before. So I never ever complain. Sampai, you know, friends will be like, even Shah was like, you make pregnancy so easy. Looks so easy. But padahal macam nak mampus aku kan. So it's always not a problem for me to. That's why macam kalau 10 anak pun tak apa. Tapi cuma I tahu for a fact that because after the baby is born, then you have to give full attention to the baby. Sama juga kalau you buka business. They treat the business macam baby juga kan. So you have to give your full attention to it. So sama je. So I kena pilih antara nak banyak anak ni, ramai anak, ataupun business pun macam mana kan. So I have to juggle with everything. Again, I don't want to go through that phase yang stop doing anything and everything for 2 years
Just to
and
focus on
to
yourself.
focus on myself. So I macam, yeah. So but it's a huge gap pun antara Kyra and Obil and Olis. A very big gap. So I dah plan dah. Nanti kakak and abang tolong hantar tuition.
Actually that's the good thing about having big kids juga, is diorang banyak boleh membantu lah kan.
Yeah. So very big gap, so at least they can help out with the other 2.
Yeah. Very, very interesting. And did you had you missed it? Having babies in the house and...
Yeah, of course. Tengok baby orang je macam halah. Sampai sekarang, I will always tell my husband, be like, dah. One more please. Dah. Dia kalau ikutkan dia, nak lagi tu.
Yeah.
I macam, you lupa ke the last one tu macam mana? But memang the last one tu memang I panic. Because my water actually broke at home. I punya panic dia, oh my God.
Like, you weren't expecting?
No. Because selalunya, all my babies, I kena induce tau to force them out. Sebab dah overdue.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
so you're like ready. You're like, please, today is
yes,
day.
out you
We're
go.
doing it.
Out you go. Shoo. Tak. Tapi this time around, I tak sempat out you go.
This one very independent. I'm coming mom.
So I macam, oh my God, I punya panic. I nak pack berus gigi. I pack shampoo. Kau bayangkan, I punya panic malam tu.
Of course
Tak apa
lah.
benda-benda I pack inside my ni. Itulah orang katakan next time prepare your hospital bag. Here I am talking about breastfeeding awareness and all that, and plan when before your baby comes. Tiba-tiba hospital bag ke mana-mana.
No, but to be fair, that's not your fault lah, Kak, because you've already had 3 kids at this
I
point.
know,
This
I
is
thought
your
I was a pro.
fourth.
I
You're
thought I
like,
was a
there
pro.
is a pattern. I've done this before. It's not my first rodeo, not even my second rodeo. I've done this before.
Yeah, I know. I thought I was a pro, but no.
Yalah.
This last one, I surrender. I told, even my doctor was like, hey, chill lah. Why lah like this? Hey, chill lah. Why you so pale? Hey, relax lah. Just, if you've done this so many times, just do.
Actually, 4 times is not so many times, like that.
I mean,
it's really not lah.
Yeah, because actually, talking about giving birth, ni kali yang kelima lah. Sebab I lost my first baby. I still had to give birth. So for her, she was like, dah 5 kali buat lah. My doctor, the same doctor kan, dah 5 kali buat. Kenapa nak panik lebih sangat ni? But I was very quiet. Because I panic lah. Daripada rumah tu sampai ke hospital, I memang panic. I was very quiet. I look like meditating tau. Sebab I takut. Memang I tengah meditate pun. Sebab I macam takut gila. Masa tu I memang takut. I memang thought I was gonna die. That time I dah macam okay, this is it lah. I'm gonna go to heaven lah, InsyaAllah ni.
Yeah.
So macam tak boleh. Even like really I panic to the max at that time. So that's why I told myself no more. Because I know my body cannot already. Cannot already. I don't think I can. No. Okay.
Jangan kasi apa.
Kak Rick. No more.
Faham. It is I think macam that's the thing lah. In media and cara yang kita represent women's bodies and stuff like that, there's a lot of stuff yang macam kita tak seberapa tahu, and this is important for me to hear. As a just only slightly younger woman, it's important for me to listen to, because one day this is going to be something that I experience juga, hopefully. And bila masa tu tiba, I don't know anything about it. I don't even know we have lactation days. I didn't even know.
Okay, how can I tell you, Amelia Anderson, don't think too much, because you.
I memang overthinker lah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yang belum kahwin ni akan overthink lah pasal lactation days dekat Malaysia.
Yeah.
Kenapa diorang tak cukup job? Kenapa macam mana diorang boleh sampai dekat target audience mereka? Ni lah benda.
But because the awareness is not there, orang tak tahu ada lactation kita boleh hire. And hospital tak inform.
Oh.
You tahu tak, hospital dulu pun belum apa-apa lagi dah bagi formula dululah kan. Tapi sekarang dah lain. It's good. And I feel that whatever that we did, like all the flash mobs and all the interviews and all that. Yeah. So that was...
It's a huge impact.
I hope so lah.
Yeah.
Sekecil-kecil apa yang kita buat masa tu, at least adalah impact.
Membantu.
Dengan kita punya industri sekarang ni.
Dan sangat penting dan sangat berkesan juga, Kak.
Exactly. So so macam if you were to ask me like how come I'm not doing DNA anymore, it's not that I'm not doing any DNA anymore, tapi I rasa macam I did my part and I dah puas. So move along. Next, what's next? Macam tu lah.
So what is next for you, Kak?
Actually, you know what, plan for DNA ni macam-macam tau. Nak masuk KL Fashion Week lah, tak kecomel jalan dengan budak-budak matching-matching.
Yalah.
Macam-macam I nak buat
So
sebenarnya.
then
Andrew sampai hari ni, Dinas, when you gonna do your show?
So actually I confused lah, Kak, sebab plan tu macam best, and then akak nampak excited. Masalahnya kalau akak cakap akak dah puas, okay, saya boleh terima. Tapi akak cakap akak puas dengan tapi kan ada satu idea ni yang sebenarnya teringin nak buat. Kenapa?
InsyaAllah we'll see next year.
Ya, mana tahu
macam
lah,
my
Kak.
mum pun duk tolak-tolak kat ni. So we'll see.
Sebab I rasa macam dalam semua benda yang kita borak ataupun bincangkan hari ni, bukan nak cakap akak tak excited pasal acting. Excited. Hosting excited. Tapi ni, this is the moment that you lit up, Kak. Macam in this whole conversation kita bercerita, this is the stuff that you seem the most excited about daripada dengan saya lah. Saya rasa macam rugi tak buat.
Yeah.
Nanti
insyaAllah I buat.
Kesian Kak, macam datang tu dapat pressure je daripada saya kan.
Bukan daripada you je masalahnya.
Ramai
macam
masalah.
my business partner, my mum pun macam bila nak buat ni. Aku dah bagi macam-macam.
Oh, faham.
So but it's I will do it. It's just that I need to take time to actually process and plan lah. This time kena plan, okay? Because I don't want it to be like not plan, and then macam kita redah je like what I did before, and then it doesn't last. Faham tak?
Yeah.
Like this one, I want it to be something that I can pass on to Kyra if she wants to, you know, or Liz or whatever, that they can just, you know, ride on later on when I'm no
Like
longer
a legacy
around.
juga.
Yeah, legacy. Not my legacy, but my mom and me, our legacy, because we're partners now. So I want something yang macam, oh yeah, my grandma and my mom started this, and I nak macam tu.
That's very cool, kan?
So takkanlah kita nak redah je macam what I did before. So cannot lah. And my mom, she plans things. She doesn't really.
She doesn't really, I understand.
And one thing about my mom yang ramai orang tak sedar is, in my family is that dia apa yang dia cakap, alhamdulillah mesti dapat.
Yeah, why is it? This is a mom thing. Because I feel like a lot of people akan rasa that about their mom is the wisdom yang kita belum lagi lalui. Mungkin, I don't know what it is. My mom has the same kuasa, and I really always thought, right, like as soon as you give birth, you get a manual as a mother, and dalam manual tu you dapat satu kuasa untuk tahu. You just know stuff, I think. Moms, and even my friends who are moms now, they just know things. But how do you know that?
Superpower.
It really is lah, really.
Yeah, something that is unexplainable, but it's something that every mother ada.
Yes.
And then the macam instinct tu kan.
Yes.
Mother's instinct tu
really,
memang serius
it's
ada.
so true. Yeah. And sebagai like a non-mother, this is so true, because every time my mother has told me something, dia akan berlaku seperti macam mana dia cakap, walaupun I tak nak ke, I happy tak happy, dia akan jadi macam tu juga. And kalau I tak ikut, I will look back, I will regret it.
It's okay. I know you will. Macam, it's up to you if you want to listen to me or not. But I hate to break it to you. Later on, she will say, I told you.
That's why.
I already told you and you don't want to listen, but...
My mom said the exact same thing though. Yeah, I really think you should do this DNA though.
Betul tak, Kyra?
Oh my god. She said. Yeah. Okay. So besides that, there are other business questions that I want to ask you. So I also watched the podcast, Akak, where you said that you're gonna open your cafe.
Dah buka dah.
Dah buka?
Dah.
Okay.
Alamak, lupa nak sebut
Yeah, we've not spoken about cafe at all.
Alright guys, my business with my mom, we now after PKP we actually expanded the building. Okay, so first kita orang tumpang my dad punya building dengan my mom punya building. So their business is actually Wanra Engineering. So they manufacture beacon lights, sirens, police lights for any
vehicles lah.
So banyak dengan kerajaan, banyak dengan PLAS, banyak dengan custom. So it's totally a different world lah daripada
that
apa
is a
yang
very
I
serious,
memang
like,
serious,
proper business.
Kan?
Yeah.
So we expanded to the next door building. Tapi we managed to we transform the whole building into a Wisma.
Cool.
So Wanra is actually, Wan is my dad's name, Era is my mom's name. So Wanra. So Wisma Wanra. So dalam Wisma Wanra ni di separatekan into two entities lah. So satu is my Wanra Engineering, satu lagi Wanra Revolusi, me and my mom. So bawah Wanra Revolusi ni ada macam-macam. Ada manufacturing company for the baju. Ada juga event space kat bawah. And then ada juga restaurant kat belakang.
Okay.
Ada juga central kitchen juga kat belakang.
There's a lot of things there.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So kalau tanya I kenapa apa selain daripada berlakon apa yang buat kat situ lah
Busy.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was supposed
to
to
a central kitchen?
Yeah, we have a central kitchen.
Okay.
Macam kalau ikutkan my mom ni macam-macam dia nak buat. Dia nak buat frozen food lah. Dia macam-macam dia nak buat.
Faham.
So I macam nak merealisasikan apa yang dia nak lah. Dan selain daripada tu, we actually have another building that she suddenly bought. So there's a boutique and also cafe. I was supposed to open that, tapi macam mana I nak divide badan I dengan anak empat ni?
Itu yang nak tanya. Okay, faham.
Dengan event space lagi, dengan cafe Wanra Cafe lagi, dengan central kitchen lagi. Tiba-tiba nak buka lagi satu Dinas Cafe pula dekat another building, and then Dinas Boutique pula dekat atas. That was my dream, but I cannot. I told my mom, I'm so sorry, walaupun dah siap Deco dah siap, semua dah siap. Tak buka je.
Sampai sekarang.
Last time I rent it out. The cafe is still available though. I'm still waiting for anyone that wants to take it. Because dah cantik dah. Serius, dah cantik dah.
Faham.
I buat untuk studio shooting je sekarang. Tak tahu kalau you dah pernah datang ke tak.
Belum sampai lagi. Oh my god, faham.
So boutique dah someone took over already, but the cafe downstairs belum lagi. But I cannot lah. That was my mom's dream as well, to have another cafe there, and then like a proper cafe yang cantik, you know.
Yeah. Business is hard. It needs so much time lah kan.
It's hard. It's
When
not
you
easy.
like look at it, Akak, what is like the number one lesson ataupun benda yang orang kena tahu yang paling penting pasal business?
Communication.
Yang macam mana tu, Kak?
Not just on business actually. When you talk about anything at all, you have to communicate. Even though that's the last thing I like to do tau. I memang tak suka sangat nak macam... Okay, no. Actually, I love to communicate. I just don't like confrontation.
Faham?
I would prefer to
Itu
just
semua
run
orang
away.
kot, I think. I
Not
can understand.
everyone.
Some people like
Oh my God, they
confrontation.
have to have confrontation. If not, how? They cannot sleep at night. You didn't settle this yet. Come here. Let's talk about it.
Oh, that's what we mean. Because that's me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know you're.
I'm very much that type of person. Tapi I tak pernah terfikir pun yang I'm confrontational. Tak. I just nak settlekan benda ni so I boleh
Yelah,
tidur.
you have to confront
tu. Betul lah kan.
yeah.
Ya, betul. I'm very
Betul tak?
confrontational.
Betul tak?
Wow.
I tak nak lari. Bye-bye.
Oh, faham. Oh, saya tak macam tu. Saya
so
macam, jom kita settle sekarang.
So masalah I dengan awal as a partner, because dua tak suka confront. Bye-bye.
Oh.
Tu tak ada communication. See you.
Oh,
Bye-bye.
Faham. So, itulah maksud dia.
Itu maksud dia.
Faham.
So dia kena opposite attracts. So yeah, like my husband pun dia suka confront. Macam I macam bye-bye. Awal tak suka. Syah suka. Macam tu.
Faham.
So it's yin and yang.
So that's what it means. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
faham.
in business pun sama juga. You have to communicate. You have to communicate with your workers. You have to communicate with your partners. You have to communicate. Kadang-kadang benda simple je. Instruction datang daripada boss. Boss dah bagi tahu dekat PA dia, let's say. Tapi PA dia tak tahu nak communicate. Lala jadi apa?
Tak ke mana lah kan.
So sama juga dengan business. Like you have to communicate in order for you to get input on something. So bagi I, mulut tu kena jangan ada belian pula dalam mulut tu. Kena communicate. Apa benda yang you tak puas hati ataupun idea yang you dapat. Communicate with your boss. Tell your boss. Benda tu. And whatever lah. Kalau benda tu tak betul pun, you communicate also. Jangan takut nak cakap dengan boss. Benda tu tak betul. Dan jangan nak cover orang ke apa ke. Or even product ke. If you rasa product tu tak ni, you have to communicate. It's brainstorming kan. Nanti kan dia macam, alah tak apalah, makan gaji je pun. So in business, number one key for me lah is communication. Of course, benda-benda lain jugalah where you have to know your product. You have to do research on your product, and then where you want to open your shop, you have to do some research, or you have to just, make sure that the location is right. So, banyak benda. Tapi for me, number one, communication.
And how would you macam fix communication or make sure that the communication is okay dalam sebuah business?
Okay, you have to make sure that what kind of boss you want to be. Like you are the product owner, right?
Yeah.
Or something. So what kind of boss that you plan to be towards your ni? So if you plan to be the garang one, and don't expect people to just easily talk to you about something. So unapproachable. So when you have an issue with something, gila kau nak bagi tahu bos, nanti kena makan kepala. Kan? What kind of boss do you want to be? So even
Tak pernah dengar benda tu. Tak pernah kan? Tak pernah kan, Syaz? Tak. Bukan saya lah kan? Okay. Just checking. Gelap semua. Why is everyone laughing?
betul macam takut nak berendam muka diorang kan. Nampak semua macam
Sudah tak pandang sini.
kan, macam wife calling. Sekejap sayang, masih
Syaz
lagi
jadi merah. Okay, tak apa. Sambung Kak.
So, again, ask yourself,
Yeah.
what kind of boss are you?
Good
Are you
question.
the boss that is approachable? So, it's good thing that I'm partner dengan my mum. Okay, dia jenis yang garang.
Yeah.
Yang I'm pula jenis approachable. So, balance.
Faham. So what I'm hearing is I tak payah betulkan apa-apa. I just kena cari seorang yang
Boss
bagus
yang-
as very approachable boss.
Yeah, approachable boss.
Alex ada kan? Lengkap. Okay lah.
So, teamwork.
Betul.
Kan? So, tapi kalau you seorang, masalah lah.
Yeah, sebenarnya I learned that.
Kalau you seorang, masalah.
And actually, one thing that I learned, Akak, and I don't know if you face this as well, tapi from whatever it is that I do lah, which is so kecil compared to, you know, a big engineering business for lights. Tapi, apa yang I belajar tu is that like, when you are a creative, you biasa kerja sorang-sorang. So like, a lot of the work that I was doing, especially as a child, was alone. Mana dia nak kena berkolaborasi, bercakap. Tak, you kerja dengan team ni, lepas tu dah habis, dah settle, dah tanggungjawab, you move on, next team. So a lot of your work is alone. You nak bawa karakter ni macam mana, you nak buat macam mana, semua tu is by yourself. When I started working in a team, this was the biggest struggle of my entire life, adalah teamwork.
And
I
how
always
you
thought,
and how you trust people to actually take over something.
Yeah, I tak trust langsung Akak. This was a huge struggle for me. And I had no problems dulu when I was in school working on team projects. Tak pernah ada masalah pun. Bila dah start kerja, inilah masalah terbesar. I macam, okay, you know what? Tak apalah, I buatlah sendiri. Buat
You
sendiri.
know why?
Semua orang tak ada kerja last.
You know why? Because bila team project, the project was given to you.
Mungkin.
It's not yours.
Betul.
Setuju sembang is
You're right.
dilahirkan daripada you. Like
Yeah.
how I lahir my DNA dulu pun I was alone.
Yeah.
But I struggled. I struggled when I was alone. I thought I was doing it right. But kan orang cakap kan, daripada satu kepala ni baik 10 kepala berfikir.
Betul sebenarnya.
Kan? Boleh je ada 10 kepala, tak semestinya you kena ada 10 partner.
Tapi yang diorang tak pernah cakap bila dia cakap 10 kepala tu lagi bijak adalah untuk managekan 10 kepala ni, make sure semua kepala tengah fikir ke arah yang sama tu adalah satu
Tak boleh
kerja
ke
juga.
arah yang sama.
Ya.
Masalahnya tu sebab kita ada 10 kepala. Kalau nak ke arah yang sama, baik guna kepala you seorang je. Betul tak?
Oh ya, betul juga.
Jadi dalam 10 kepala tu, you ambil lah mana yang you boleh ambil. Jadikan satu idea yang baru. Daripada you just take one idea, now you have 10 kepala to work on 3 ideas kira-kiranya. Ada 3 idea yang bagus.
Faham.
Macam mana daripada 3 idea ni, you combine kan jadi satu benda yang sangat unik.
Betul.
Sangat something orang lain tak pernah buat.
What was it like for you untuk macam belajar benda ni from scratch as well? Because kalau you dah start seorang-seorang dengan your business and then untuk expandkan ataupun untuk hire out, was this a tough learning curve for you?
I'm still learning.
Oh, faham.
I'm still learning. But a lot of positive dan negative lah. Because it's better to work with not just one brain lah kan.
Oh, so much better, so much easier.
Ideas, and sometimes you are when you're feeling low, when you're feeling not motivated, you have another partner that actually pushes you. What are you doing? Let's go. And then when she's tired or she's your partner is distracted with other stuff, you know, then you are here to actually show, oh, I'm here, you know, let's move forward. So at least it's a teamwork juga to actually motivate each other to create something new and move forward. What's next? Kalau you seorang, nanti you macam, oh, I feeling nak Bali sekejap. Kan? Tiba-tiba mana nak masuk balik. Faham tak?
Faham,
So
faham,
benda ni, at least you ada sense of responsibility. Macam, okay lah, balik kejap je 4 hari. Lepas tu, okay, partner waiting.
Faham. Betul lah kan? Interesting. Very interesting conversation.
Balance.
Oi. Yelah.
Balance.
Yeah.
So macam you tanya I, macam nak I manage with everything. Just make sure that things are balanced so that you don't get where I was when I was 30 years old. 2 years break. You don't want to go through that phase anymore.
When you look back at that specific moment kan Akak, was it a positive thing for you? Do you feel happy that you took the 2 years break or not so much?
I wasted 2 years, I feel. But I know I needed it. If it's up to me, especially a person that's always on the go, I will never take that 2 years break. But I just had to. If not, I think I jam. Bila jam lagi tak ke mana lah.
Faham? Tapi maybe when you think about it juga kan, it's not a waste. It's like berhutang dengan diri sendiri of all of
You
the breaks yang
you owe yourself that 2 years.
sepatutnya you dah
Actually
ambil.
more 5 years patutnya, but
Mungkin
then
lah kan. Mungkin. Sebab kan
But-
balance tu dah tak ada. Sekarang the
Exactly.
counter balance tu yang masuk kan.
Yeah, but you know, it's a good thing that you actually took that. I actually took that 2 years, and then at least I can come up with new ideas after that, kan?
Faham. You dah mencari balik your inspiration. So selepas ni ada apa kak? Like what's coming up for you in the timeline?
We're probably being KL Fashion Week.
I'm so happy to hear this.
I
You
don't know.
should Kak. You look so happy
Yeah,
tau.
I
You
know.
look happy yang macam obvious nampak.
Yeah, but I'm still going to launch my I want to launch something on TikTok, which is my kids wear first.
Nice.
You know, and I think when it comes to children's wear ni kan, no matter if your children dah besar sekalipun, because when you look at other small children, you macam lah geramnya lah. So that's when I can always come up with new ideas when it comes to
Faham.
babies lagi-lagi kan. So let me launch that first, and then tengok macam mana. Yeah,
Yeah, it suits you Kak, the space, I think.
kan?
Yeah.
No more. Nanti
Okay
kata,
lah.
je lah B, it suits you getting pregnant. Okay.
Tapi itu kan seorang selalu cakap nanti dia jadi pula Kak. Bahaya tu.
Betul lah. Kita tidakkan je lah.
And dari segi lakonan and macam benda-benda entertainment hosting ke apa, Akak ada plan tak nak macam I don't know, like do any more acting upcoming? Is there any projects that we don't know about yet? Ke dia?
I just finished actually because
You have one coming out next year kan?
apa tu? I just finished one for iQIYI and one for TV3, which is coming out soon. Dorm 403 is coming out probably next year.
That sounds like awesome project.
Dorm. It's about apa tu, bullies.
Yeah.
Memang
Very cool.
terkini juga.
Yeah.
Dengan apa what's going on here.
Yeah, sounds like a really good project.
Itulah insyaAllah. We work really hard for that.
How I don't know lah, kepada time management Akak, I rasa macam hebat power lah. Akak boleh buat macam ada 4 business dalam satu bangunan. Sekali masuk dengan ada 3 projek bakal nak keluar tahun depan.
Dengan ada 6.
Sekali tu dengan a 2-year-old.
Yes.
Akak tidur ke tak ni sebenarnya?
Nasib baik saya punya suami tidur dengan anak-anak. Jadi yeah.
What a
I
great
did my
guy.
breastfeeding part. Your turn now. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
But he
awesome.
loves it. I mean, he doesn't complain.
What
He
an
loves-
awesome support system you have, Akak. God bless.
Yeah. Tapi no more, okay?
Okay.
I have to emphasize on that.
Faham? Okay. So sebelum kita habiskan this episode, we have a rapid fire, which is very nice and easy, simple, spicy questions kadang-kadang. Are you ready, Akak?
Yes. Oh, I ingat macam apa tu, the comedy thing. Okay, anyway, go.
Okay. I know you suka tengok crime and murder
Oh my
and
God.
mystery and
Tengok kayak raja
everything.
muka.
Kan? Tapi if you had to choose, what is your number one favorite crime, murder, mystery story ataupun movie ataupun whatever it is that you watch? What is your number one favorite? Documentary ke?
Anything crime and investigation. That's my favorite channel ever. And I know, right? I'm so weird. Especially when I'm pregnant. I love it. Stop judging, Kara.
I'm thinking, as you bring life into this world,
I
we will
know, but I
listen
was
to
like
live
always
reading.
like, yeah, crime
Oh.
and investigations. Selalu. Every time I'm pregnant kan, I akan lagi macam hari-hari aku tengok cerita.
What is the like craziest crime story yang you pernah dengar? Kak?
All the popular ones I don't have a favorite because I love them all. Apa tu? The one that makan orang tu.
Oh, cannibalism.
Yeah. No, Dahmer.
Dahmer ate people? No, there's a... Oh my God.
That's my favorite.
Isn't there like the most recent Netflix documentary yang
Yeah,
keluar
I
tu
watched
yang orang
that
tengok?
so many times.
Tapi dia cakap orang tengok lepas tu jadi gila ke apa ke?
Tak ada gila
eh?
pun, seronok je. Imagine I tengah buat cerita rasis orang lelaki kan.
Yeah.
So cerita tu kan macam psycho juga
Yeah,
kan.
psycho juga cerita tu.
I cakap kan Nazim, I love your character. I love that scene. Oh my God, I love it. Dia macam, Dinas, serius lah. Takut lah you ni.
Faham.
I suka suka sangat.
Dia menarik lah. Dia interesting. It's like human
Super.
psychology. Macam mana you boleh buat benda tu?
Ya, I rasa macam sangat curious. Dan macam bila dia bunuh orang tu dan bila dia makan tu, apa rasanya perasaan dia tu lah.
Oh, tapi ada dengar juga kak, kalau apparently kalau you makan human flesh tu, dia ada banyak sangat diseases yang you akan there's like parasitic diseases yang akan boleh tanam dalam your otak and you boleh jadi gila juga kalau you
Padan lah
makan.
dia macam tu
Yeah, because apparently our body has a lot of bacteria yang tak elok untuk badan kita digest. So orang yang makan orang tu, I pernah dengar juga true crime ni. So orang yang makan orang tu, dia last dia jadi crack sikit. Tapi saya punya argument tu, dia crack sebelum dia makan orang pun. Sebab macam mana boleh cetus-cetus ni idea macam tu.
Exactly, in the first place. Yeah, exactly.
But apparently I tak tahu. Anyways, your New Year's resolution or goal untuk 2026 kak?
No more babies.
You heard it here first Kita revisit
Janganlah,
situation ni
oh my God.
dalam 5 tahun. Dan kita tengok sama ada
I don't like to plan, remember?
itulah yang kita akan revisit dalam 5 tahun. Dan
Tapi
kita
part tu kena plan.
Ya, sebab
Allah, hai.
Yelah kak. Okay.
Yelah tu.
Okay lah kak. Instagram or TikTok?
TikTok.
Okay. Favorite and most useful thing yang you pernah beli dekat TikTok?
Oh my God. My hair products, like the equipments.
Oh my God, can you send me a list?
There's a straightener that you can use when your rambut tengah basah. Because it's got it's a hair dryer and a straightener at the same time.
Wow, bestnya.
My
Laju ke?
TikTok.
Is it fast?
It's fast. It's fast. And it's straight like keratin your hair.
Seriously?
Lembut juga. Yeah. I dah lama tak buat keratin tau. My hair selalunya kena buat every like a few months. Dah lama I tak buat keratin. I guna benda-benda macam tu je lah.
Okay, I'm gonna go and do all my research and follow this. Okay, next one. If you could produce your own show, what would it be about?
Breastfeeding.
You see, I really think it's a sign up. I tak tahulah daripada this show kalau
Probably
kita belajar
like medical
satu
lah. Medical. Probably.
DNA lah kan. Kita
anything lah when it comes to like
like a medical
being a mom, you know, psychology. We can talk about so many things kan. Depression.
Actually, Kak, that would be a really good story. You know, about a mom who like really cannot breastfeed or something like that, and then like it really drives her like really upset.
Not just apa ni tau, as in the journey of being a mom pun kadang-kadang macam ada macam couples yang been trying for a baby tak dapat-dapat, and then macam mana dia nak
the
go
stress
through
and heartbreak of that lah juga kan.
Exactly. So I think a talk show for women that discuss about everything and anything, especially for apa ni lah, journey sebagai seorang isteri, macam tu kan. We can talk about how to berdepan dengan penyondol, macam tu kan. Tak ke best?
Harap-harap kita janganlah berdepan dengan penyondol lah kan.
Tapi macam yelah, we
kita
can interview people yang
kita jangan berdepan. Kita berdepan, lepas tu kita macam bye. Kita U-turn, kita ciao.
Kan? Kejap. Panggil balik.
Nak ajak borak sikit.
Meh sini kau.
Kelakar.
Nangis.
Kita sambung. DM paling pelik yang akak pernah dapat.
Jangan tanya. Kak tunjuk.
Aduh. Ada ke?
Gambar yang sama pula tu every time. Kalau ya pun
Ya
tak ada tukar.
tak ada creativity.
Sorry Kak.
Okay. Makanan kegemaran akak.
Kegemaran?
Yeah, your number one favourite. One thing you boleh makan forever.
Oh, roti. I love
roti juga.
I love roti. I
Which
can have
roti?
roti every day.
Roti yang macam mana?
Anything. I suka macam yang bun dengan cheese and then that's so nice, and lembut. Oh my God,
You have to try.
I can have that every day.
I don't know what it's called. Something. My mom sent it to me. Hokkaido milk bread.
I know that.
Oh my God.
They are popular in
Wow.
Bangkok.
Really? Oh, my mom hantar daripada hari tu. She said, you have to go and buy this. You have to go and try it. I tried it. Oh my God.
It's soft, right?
It's so
and
good.
It's so milky, right?
Yes, apa
I know.
benda tu.
I know.
Lepas tu I
Kalau you
tengok
pergi
the calories
Bangkok,
kan. Macam,
kalau you pergi Bangkok, you try the original one.
this is not the original one yang kita dapat.
No.
Kita dapat the export. Ya, faham.
Dan dia, can you imagine bila dia sejuk pun still lembut? Oh my God, sedap gila.
Satu lagi yang I punya
Kenapa
favourite.
you terliur?
I suka roti. Satu lagi butterscotch gardenia.
Ya.
Support local. Oh my god, love you gardenia.
Butterscotch sedap.
Oh my
Tapi ya Allah
God.
gemuknya yang tu.
Yelah.
Yeah.
Betul
Okay,
lah tu,
another
okay.
thing that I like is also laksa lah. My daughter so like,
Kontras jugalah kak. Kan?
semua benda aku suka. Laksa. You
Laksa.
name it. Laksa,
Laksa
apa?
mana
Laksa
paling-
Johor, laksa Kedah, laksa Utara, laksa Laksam. Segala lah.
Tak ada yang variation yang akak rasa this is the laksa.
Tak ada. Laksa Sarawak semua benda. Semua laksa I suka.
Okay. Okay. Valid kak.
The bomb.
Okay. And then the last question. Kita punya soalan terakhir is one advice ataupun quote that you live by and siapa yang bagi tahu ataupun ajar.
Siapa yang bagi tahu apa yang ajar? Okay. When you don't, okay. I always tell myself that don't ever say I should have. Don't ever. Because nasi dah jadi bubur. So you will live with regret. Buat apa? So move along. Okay, you did a mistake. Tak nak macam, alamak, I should have turned left. Why did I turn right? Tak payah. You dah memang turn right dah pun. Now, plan how you going to fix the problem. Tak payah nak fikir, if I were to turn left tadi kan senang. Kan hidup I macam ni. Kan. I should have. So I always tell myself, I don't have perkataan I should have in my dictionary, sorry. So janganlah macam always fikir macam kalau lah aku, I should have married that guy instead of this guy. I should have bought this bag instead of that bag. Tak payah. Sebab bagi I, benda tu yang akan buat you sakit. Tak payahlah nak sakitkan hati. Buat apa? Tak payah guna perkataan I should have. Kita cancel je. Tut. Dah. Itu je.
Yeah.
Boring kan?
That's a very good advice actually.
Yeah?
Yeah. I unfortunately find myself saying I should have so many times dalam seminggu.
Sebab you overthink.
Sangat. Disease akak really is a disease. Dia akan menjadikan you seorang yang sangat tak bersyukur kadang-kadang untuk apa yang you ada. Sebab you selalu akan fikir macam mana nak betulkan lagi. Betul macam mana you nak.
Ya, tak payahlah nak perfect
Cukup
semua
dah
benda.
tu. Ya.
Enjoy. You can, because if you overthink, you tak sempat nak enjoy apa-apa yang you dapat.
Betul.
Sebab you rasa apa yang you dapat tu tak cukup.
Yes, betul. Ataupun you rasa macam you
Not good
rasa
enough.
you susah nak maafkan diri sendiri sebab you rasa macam I made a mistake.
Tak cukup ni.
Yeah.
Push a bit more. This is not you. You
Not a
can
good
do
way to
better.
live juga kan. Betul kak. Anyways, alang-alang kita dah sampai dekat hujung episod. I have one last thing I need to ask you for kak, which is ada apa-apa pesanan tak kepada audience kita kat luar sana and your fans?
Pesanan would be, janganlah stres sangat kot. I rasa pesanan, tak ada apa pesanan pun. Sebab I rasa macam kita punya life sekarang ni banyak macam sibuk dengan tepi kain orang. Macam I rasa macam hidup kau ni sibuk lah nak perfectkan orang lain ataupun komen ataupun judge orang lain punya life. Tapi life you tu perfect tak? You dah lupa ke dengan diri you? Ke you rasa diri you tu perfect? So I rasa macam so many negative punya energy around that I realise that macam, especially on the social media kan. Macam that's why I'm the type of person macam tak pay attention sangat. Tapi kalau bagi orang-orang yang suka overthink dan pay attention to everything and tulis everything apa yang negatif supaya dia macam boleh memperbaiki situasi tu, macam mana? So I rasa macam my advice would be, sudah-sudahlah tu guys. Enjoy life and tentukan diri kita dulu sebelum kita judge orang lain. Okay?
Betul. Thank you Kak meluangkan masa, and thank you guys juga for datang and being so patient. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode, dan jangan lupa untuk saksikan Studio Sembang yang akan datang balik again next week lah. Macam biasalah, you guys already know. Okay, see you next week. Okay, bye-bye.